Did a fresh Hormuz tussle really begin less than 10 days after Trump and Iran inked their memorandum, raising doubts about how long any promised calm in the strait can actually last? Was a cargo ship attacked near Hormuz just as Iran tightened its grip on the strait, sending a sharp reminder that shipping lanes remain vulnerable even under new diplomatic deals? Did a mystery projectile hit a ship near Oman with Iranian threats still looming in the background, fueling fears that unseen actors can still jolt global trade in a single strike? Amid rising tensions around Hormuz, another mystery strike has rattled global shipping routes, putting captains and insurers back on high alert. On June 25, a cargo vessel was reportedly hit by an unknown projectile in the Strait of Hormuz, adding a fresh incident to an already tense waterway. The UK's Maritime Agency said the impact damaged the ship's bridge off Oman's southern coast, leaving visible scars but no immediate sign of who fired. According to UKMTO, the incident took place about 7.5 nautical miles southeast of Dahit, right along one of the busiest corridors for regional traffic. The ship's master reported no casualties and no pollution despite the damage to the bridge, a narrow escape that still underscored how close this came to disaster. UK maritime officials say the projectile has not yet been identified or attributed, leaving open the question of whether a state or proxy was behind the attack. In the aftermath, 3 vessels, including 2 major oil supertankers, reportedly abandoned planned Hormuz transits via Oman, choosing caution over risk. Notably, the attack hit just as oil prices were dipping and Hormuz traffic was edging back toward pre-war volumes, threatening to undo fragile market calm. Just a week earlier, on June 17, another ship was attacked off Yemen's coast, suggesting a broader pattern of strikes along the region's critical sea lanes. A commercial shipping vessel came under attack from armed assailants near Yemen's port city of Aden on June 17. The United Kingdom Maritime Trade Operations, or UKMTO, reported the security incident in waters close to Aden. According to UKMTO, the confrontation took place roughly 105 nautical miles, or 194 kilometers, northeast of Aden, Yemen. United Kingdom Maritime Trade Operations said, and I quote, UKMTO has received a report of an incident 105 nautical miles northeast of Aden, Yemen. A vessel has been approached to within 4 meters and fired upon by 2 skiffs with an unknown number of armed persons on board. The vessel has deployed security team and returned fire. The suspect skiffs have now disengaged and are in excess 4 nautical miles of the vessel. The crew are safe. Vessels are advised to transit with caution and report any suspicious activity to UKMTO, while authorities are investigating. End quote. Authorities have yet to establish which group or organization was responsible for carrying out the attack on the vessel. Earlier, 2 merchant ships were also reportedly targeted by armed skiffs operating off Yemen's coastline, according to UKMTO. Meanwhile, the IRGC Navy has ordered ships to use only Iran-approved transit routes through Hormuz, a move that tightens Tehran's practical control over who passes and how. The force said any transit outside officially designated shipping corridors is prohibited, according to Press TV. In a June 25 statement, the IRGC described the use of unauthorized routes as both unacceptable and potentially dangerous. The Navy said all vessels must coordinate with Iranian authorities before entering or transiting the waterway. The warning came days after Chief Negotiator Bagher Ghalibaf pledged what he called a new reality in Hormuz. Iran's parliament speaker said the crucial shipping lane would never return to its pre-war operating conditions. The issue of Hormuz restrictions remains one of the most sensitive unresolved matters, following the U.S. Iran Memorandum of Understanding. The agreement signed by Washington and Tehran seeks to halt the cycle of escalation, confrontation, and retaliation. Under the MOU, Iran agreed to facilitate commercial shipping through the corridor during a 60-day implementation period. However, Tehran has repeatedly stressed that safe passage remains conditional on coordination with Iranian authorities. The latest IRGC warning reinforces Iran's intention to strictly enforce those requirements and navigation conditions. Iran has installed its heaviest ever offshore oil platform in the Persian Gulf, a move that underscores both its technical capacity and its determination to work around sanctions pressure. The new P4 platform, weighing about 6,200 tons, was deployed at the Rishadat oil field roughly 90 kilometers south of Lavin Island in the Gulf. Officials say the structure was fully designed and built inside Iran, highlighting domestic engineering and manufacturing despite years of US-led sanctions restricting foreign technology. The P4 is expected to boost Rishadat's crude output by about 35,000 barrels per day, adding a significant new stream to Iran's offshore production. In addition, the platform can inject around 80,000 barrels per day of water into the reservoir, a key technique used to maintain pressure and sustain current production levels over time. Iranian engineers used a complex float-over installation method to position the massive topside on its base, reflecting growing expertise in advanced offshore construction techniques. Experts note that U.S. sanctions delayed the project by limiting access to specialized equipment and know-how, stretching timelines and increasing reliance on local solutions. Iranian officials argue that completing the platform shows the country can adapt and ultimately defeat sanctions pressure by building up its own industrial capabilities. Since 2018, Tehran has increasingly leaned on domestic firms and engineers for energy development, from drilling and platform construction to subsea systems. The Rishadat upgrade represents a major boost to Iran's offshore oil sector, expanding capacity just as diplomatic conditions start to ease. Iranian oil exports have also climbed to a new high in the days following Tehran's recent deal with the United States, suggesting the country aims to capitalize quickly on any opening in the market. According to tanker trackers, Iran exported nearly 36 million barrels of crude oil within a span of only 6 days. Since June 15, Tehran has reportedly accelerated shipments after Washington eased selected restrictions on Iranian oil exports. Another 36 million barrels of Iranian crude reportedly remain at sea, awaiting delivery to international buyers. The figures suggest Iran could rapidly ramp up exports if regional tensions continue to ease in the coming weeks. Iran's oil shipments had previously fallen to their lowest levels in 6 years amid the impact of America's Hormuz blockade. In a fresh diplomatic and economic victory for Tehran, Washington has temporarily eased sanctions on Iran's oil sector for 60 days. U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent announced the limited sanctions relief measure on June 22. Under the arrangement, Iran can temporarily produce, transport and sell crude oil and petroleum products until August 21. Bessent stated that the decision was taken in light of ongoing negotiations between Washington and Tehran. In return, Iran has pledged to keep the Strait of Hormuz open and accessible for international shipping traffic. The U.S. Treasury Secretary said, and I quote, "In line with the ongoing productive talks in Switzerland, Iran has committed to free and open transit in the Strait of Hormuz, and to permit International Atomic Energy Agency inspectors into their country. As part of the framework, the Treasury has issued a temporary 60-day general license authorizing the production, delivery, and sale of Iranian oil." End quote. Experts warn that Iran's growing oil windfall could provide Tehran with resources to rapidly rebuild its ballistic missile network. Meanwhile, U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance claimed that negotiations with Iran have achieved what he described as momentous progress.